Welcome back, everybody, to Love of Pages. Thank you for enjoying our extra episode from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you had fun with it. So this week we are jumping into my pick, and we are doing James Bond, Ian Fleming's Moonraker.
Moonraker.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
It's James Bond.
But I clearly know the song way too much and might run into copyright infringement issues.
Probably.
It's fine. I don't claim to sing well, so I don't think it's an issue. But that's besides the point. So Moonraker is part of the 007 series. It was originally published in 1955.
Oh.
Feels like it.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll get into this in the discussion, but like even the descriptions of the secretaries don't get me wrong, they are bad, but they do a better job than a lot of the other versions of James Bond does.
Yeah, I did think there were some positives for the time in there. There was the part where they talk about like there's one secretary who everyone comes onto, and eventually if she keeps going the way she's going, she's going to be a spinster. But the way that they talk about her denying anybody is that at the end of it, like she says no, but then she lets them know it's not their fault, basically.
Yeah.
And I was so torn.
But at the same time, it was kind of because then the description goes further on, but like, it's not fair to the women because like the men of the service are it's fine to have torrid affairs, but like the women, it's immediately assumed that they're a security risk. So like it's very imbalanced. Like it's no wonder that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's very insightful into the reality of the time. Like,
Yeah.
That's very cognizant of you, which you don't get with some of the other Ian Fleming novels. So
listen, if he writes that many books, at least at a couple points, he's going to be unintentionally cognizant.
Right. At least some points has to pick it up. But in any case, where was I going with this? I was going
published in 1955. This book is a James Bond book.
Yes, thank you. Published as a James Bond book. I selected this book because while the themes are it's very much a 1955 doomsday kind of issue, some of the same questions that get raised in this particular plot are pretty poignant for current political events and political concerns, thoughts, the whole question of double agents in echelons of government. Very, very relevant to today. So that's kind of why I selected it. We'll get into Ian Fleming as part of the footnote if we manage to get there. If not, we'll do it at a different point.
We did. I just want to point out before we get any further here, we did not get any of that stuff in this first part of the book. This first part of the book is exclusively like this is James Bond at this point in his career, and he's going to play cards.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We're Moonraker is, I want to say, about halfway through the James Bond series. I'm trying to remember its exact numbering, but it's about halfway through. It's not one of the first ones. He's pretty well established as a 00. But yes, he's playing cards in this first third of the book. So for those of you reading along with us, Moonraker is broken into 3 parts. Monday, which is what we read for today's episode. Tuesday, Wednesday, which are for next week's episode, and then Thursday, Friday, which is the third week's episode. So James Bond is going to save the world in a work week. Like, we're very much 9 to 5, or actually I personally like the 10 to 5 that he works. I want to know how I get that arrangement, but it's fine. It's fine. So we open with...
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you guys, but you guys do have cocktails for this, yes?
Oh, that's right. We
have cocktails. The only cocktail you can drink.
So yes,
Hopefully I can drink.
We're open with a vodka martini with a lemon twist. So interesting.
Well, you did lemon twist.
I did a lemon.
He did a lemon twist in the.
So, well, the reason I did a lemon twist is actually the true James Bond cocktail is called a Vesper martini, which is 6 parts vodka, 3 parts gin, 1 part vermouth, and then a half part. There is a particular liqueur that's got a lemon and then a lemon twist to it.
Okay, where does this come from? Because everybody knows it's a vodka martini, shaken, not stirred, and that's it.
Actually, the vodka martini is the second most frequently consumed cocktail in the James Bond series. The most frequently consumed alcoholic beverage in the James Bond series is actually champagne.
As he gets in this one.
Yeah, that makes
sense. That's what he drinks with all the ladies.
And then also
champagne.
When he's gambling too at a gentleman's club.
For this one, I decided to go the James Bond route, and I will be having this. I'm gonna go ahead and prepare my drink.
Uh-oh.
All right, there's that on ice with a citrus twist. I'm gonna shake it, shaken, and that is a citrus energy drink, shaken, not stirred. Fantastic.
But yeah, no, the Vesper Martini is originally introduced and is claimed to be created in the Bond series. And it's a dry martini, 1 in a deep champagne goblet. 3 measures of Gordon's, 1 of vodka, half a measure of Kiana Lillet. Shake well until ice cold, and then add a large slice of lemon peel.
Sounds scary.
So it's a very intense, but James Bond typically drinks the vodka martini with a lemon twist. It's at least usually garnished that way.
We all learned something here today. And 2 of us drink alcohol.
Well, I just went like how to make a vodka martini, and everybody was like, "It needs to be with 3 olives." I'm like,
yeah, granted, okay. I normally drink a dirty martini, so I'm with you on the olives all the way.
Yeah,
but
I spilled some of my vodka. Makes it sterile.
You shouldn't do that. But I also don't tend to as much as like I drink vodka, but in my martinis I prefer gin because vodka and vermouth just taste funny to me. But that's okay.
They all seem weird to me.
Well, I mean, that's fair, Stephen. You don't tend to like alcohol, so you know. Oh, and I was wrong. So here's my corrections statement. Moonraker is the 3rd book in the series.
Really? He was already supposed to be established in the there's a lot in the beginning of this book that sets him up as being like a desk worker.
Right. So, yeah. But then again, when I think about it, because there are 14 novels.
But some of them are extended.
Some of them are extended. But let's say 14. And he does the math at the beginning of this book for the required age of retirement to a desk job for a 00.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives us those calculations at the beginning about how many jobs he's likely to have.
Yeah.
So he's looking at least 8 tough assignments, probably 16. So that 14 number is pretty close. Perhaps even 24 So if he's got that many missions left, it would make sense based on the calculations. But so it's the third one in the series.
I'm very surprised over how much I like this drink.
Well, I'm glad you like the drink. Cheers to everybody. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Podcast.
So, yes. Elizabeth, you are an established Bond fan. What do Bond fans call themselves? Bondonians?
The
Bondonites? Bond heads?
Fans? The 00 Club?
Jimmies?
That would be cool.
00 groupies?
Yeah.
Groupies fits, because I'm pretty sure most James Bond fans are like my father.
Yeah. And if we're supposed to judge by who buys the DVDs, like 6 years ago, it was almost exclusively like 42-year-old men.
Yeah, which pretty on track. Yeah. No, because I'm a James Bond fan because I grew up on James Bond. Like, yep. I don't think there was a week that we did not watch a James Bond movie. For instance, my father is currently going through another James Bond marathon where he's going through all of the movies in order.
See, my dad just watches it because there's always that one movie channel that just always has a 007 film on. And that's how he watches it, and then it'll be the same one the next week, and he'll still rewatch it.
Yep.
I just grew up watching them.
Yeah. My father still does marathons probably at least 3 to 4 times a year. He'll just rewatch the whole series. So I grew up on this stuff. I did make the one attempt at reading a 007, and I read Dr. No, and that was kind of rough to get through. So far, this one's been better. I don't know if it's because I'm older, and so I'm more cynical and less easily offended, or if this is just better written. And maybe both. Maybe it's both. I don't know. How'd you guys feel about it so far?
This is good. I like it. I do like it. I think the problem is, I don't know why I haven't seen Moonraker in forever. And so I'm like literally all I remember from Moonraker is Jaws and his cute little Dutch or whatever girlfriend. Like, that's all I could remember.
I mean, that's
yeah. And for the fight scenes, I was like, okay, Baccarat, that's pretty common in all the movies. He's always playing Baccarat. And I gotta say, there's, like, whenever I watch him play Baccarat, I don't know what the heck's going on. And when I read him describing how to play Baccarat, I still don't know what the crap is going on. I'm just like, what is this game? What is a good hand? Am I supposed to understand how this is a good hand?
I feel like for an extra episode to go with this book, we need to do a Baccarat lesson where we actually attempt to play Baccarat.
Oh, that sounds terrifying, though.
We've done a poker night before as a group. Were either of you guys there for this?
Yes. Daniel spilled wine on the poker table.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and the three of us did not play poker. The three of us sat at the other table.
Oh, no. This was a later one. I went to 2 before, and I cleaned house the first time because I don't know how to play like any kind of poker whatsoever. So I was like a drunken master to everybody who was there. They couldn't see any of my moves coming
because you couldn't see it.
I don't know what I'm doing.
So, but no, I lived reading this book the same way I played that game that night. I just kept powering through and hoping for the best for everyone involved.
Hoping you'd figure it out. Yeah, no, Baccarat is highly technical of a game, but I don't know. I think that's what makes it interesting. Like when to me, blackjack, there's definitely strategy to it, but it's not a particularly complex game. Like you're just playing the odds of, okay, I currently have a 17. Do I draw another card? Kind of question.
Mm-hmm.
Baccarat's got a lot more steps to it, so there's a lot more to track and think about. But
because for this one, the thing I'm curious about, you guys have both seen the movie for this one. Does it feel like in the movie for this, they go as in depth with things as they do in the book?
No, because you just get to watch them play.
Yeah, you get to.
Okay.
Yeah, you just.
Oh, so none of the mental part.
Correct.
Okay.
You also don't get which was actually kind of sort of nice, was a guy very well describing the food he was eating and the clothes that people were wearing.
Right.
It's like, wow, I like it.
These books are definitely written like, here's how you design the set and costuming for making this movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Here's your acting cues. Here's where everybody should be placed.
There's like Cartier's called out in there, I believe, at one point. Like they're very specific. Dom Perignon is in there. But no, for this one, I have no big Bond connection whatsoever, like at all. I saw as many Bond movies as a kid in the 90s who isn't being shown them by their parents would have seen. Exclusively one, basically. Just GoldenEye. And I haven't gone back with Daniel Craig either. I just like Daniel Craig. So for this one, I was at times surprised in a positive way, and like on the money for how this lined up with my thoughts of Bond. I liked the desk worker aspect of it, and he's just like, "Oh man, I'm my 1,500 pounds. That's more than I make in a year. Oh no, I'm gonna get this guy."
Yeah. Nope, that's fair. I do like that the book, more than the movie, gives you the boring aspects of life as a spy. Yeah. Like, I think like movies always tell you like being a spy is just constant adventure and constantly like nah, that's like 2, maybe 3 times a year you're off doing those serious things, and the rest of it's like making contacts, pushing paper, shuffling through, reading through endless reports, trying to glean information, like
learning how to take poison out of vodka.
Learning how to get cards.
One thing I was it made me think of while reading it was, I don't know if there was just a drastically different kind of way of looking at any kind of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like the spy work, I guess. Like anything like that. Say again?
Espionage?
Yeah, thank you. That's the exact word I was looking for. Like any kind of like espionage or anything like that. Because the way that he describes the stuff is like the double O's get to do this kind of thing, and maybe every once in a while you'll have to kill. When now that's pretty much like that's just gonna happen in a Bond thing. It's just there. To the point where it kind of made me wonder, why is a double O a double O, and it's not just a different kind of soldier at that point?
Fair.
Like a SEAL team would just go in and just do their things.
Well,
where
I feel like the difference might be in the fictional world is that, and it says he has the license to kill, which I assume actually means he has jurisdiction over deciding if he can kill or not. Whereas SEALs, they have to be told by
green-lighted.
The commander-in-chief. They have to be green-lighted. But 007 he has the ability to look at the situation and decide, no, I need to kill this person. I can't wait for somebody to green-light it. And he has the permission to do that. That's what I'm assuming it is. I have no idea, but that would be my assumption.
Operational autonomy.
Yeah. No, I'll take that one.
So, but yeah. So you want to jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, because we've kind of started with stuff, but so we open with Bond doing his weekly gun range test. I guess for lack of a better word. And his desire to beat the machine, which is just so 1950s. Like that just, to me, that feels like 1950s. Like, no, I have to be able to beat the machine. And it's like, okay, I know we haven't gotten to computers yet, but like beating the machine, not a thing. Like that's just not a thing. You're like, you're done. Stop that.
It is. It's a thing. What was that folktale? There's folklore. You gotta beat the machine. With the railroad tracks. Oh, Paul Bettany.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Beat the machine.
No, it seems like we did kind of like take this idea on. It used to be a much bigger thing in stories in general, but now it seems like it's almost settled to a point where we're like, oh, you know what, like machines are great, machines are good, but it's not a human. A human is diverse. It's jazz. Like,
It's
These aren't spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers.
I made spirit fingers for all of those listening.
We did. I did make spirit fingers because I am a child of the 90s, and that's just what happens, okay? Just what happens. But in any case, he then travels up to the 8th floor, where nothing is labeled, because if you are on the 8th floor and you don't work on the 8th floor, you'll just be escorted. I did like the snobbery. It was very much like nose in the air, like the 8th floor. But so we get introduced to Lolita. I'm going to butcher her name. Lolita Param. Somebody help me pronounce this.
Is a name, but as Bond calls her,
Lil.
There we go.
Calls her Lil.
Yeah.
Lil.
Lolita Ponsonby?
Lolia?
Lolia?
All of these sound fine to me.
Anyway. Lil, who is the 00 secretary for the 00 team. And we get this lovely discussion about the fact that she's about to become a spinster. But that
she would join the army of women who had married a career. That's what it was. I was like,
the problem being.
Yeah, like as opposed to the idea of every other, like all the men in this situation who have presumably done the same thing. I don't.
But he does get to that point. He gets to the point that, you know, 00 can't get married because it would just be like you don't have that kind of time.
It's the mistake that Ethan Hawke made. Ethan Hunt, I'm sorry. Ethan Hawke, they seem to have had a nice, lovely family, lovely daughter. Ethan Hunt, however, in Mission Impossible, made that mistake.
He did get married, and it was an O.
It was an O. And then we get the whole discussion of him going through the stack of files on his desk, because welcome to Monday mornings anywhere in an office. And basically the fact like they have to go through every report. It sounds like every report that comes through any part of the service, they have to kind of look at least at a glance, to determine if it might be useful in future assassinations, so on and so forth. We find out that there are only 3 00s, 007, 008, and 0011.
11. I know, that threw me off. I was like, what?
Well, not only that, but if there are only 3 of you, why are you not 1, 2, and 3? Like, why are you 7 or 7, 8, and 9? No, we're 7, 8, and 11. Like, what happened to everybody else?
Well, 7, 8, 9. So I know that much.
Yeah. Oh.
But
That's like 6 scared.
So
from the movies,
9, it made 6 scared, as Jessica said. So okay, there's 6 and there's 9. Where's 1 through 5? And what happened to 10?
Maybe we find out. We're gonna have to read all of the James Bond novels to find out.
I'm trying to think of in the movies. There's a 006. There's a 008. I think there's a 009 mentioned. I don't know. There's not really a lot. I don't think there might be more than 3.
I don't think.
I'm wondering if it's just there's always only 3 00s and they just pick a random number. I don't know.
Yeah, they're trying to give the impression of more.
That was.
It's like when a frog puffs itself up to be scary. Yeah. That's the 00 program in a nutshell.
In any case, Bond is the only one currently in the office because 0011 is lost somewhere in Singapore, which is, oh so great.
Happens.
And then 008 is recovering in Germany, which Lil is the one who tells him about that because she heard it through the quote-unquote gossip locker that is the women's restroom. And I'm like, well, no shit, because women know what actually is going on, but that's fine. It's a whole other thing. Also, Stephen, you have to edit out that last word, bleep it out so that we can stay clean.
What word did you say? I don't think you said anything.
I did. I said a naughty word. I said a bad word.
I didn't hear the word at all.
Oh, good.
No word existed.
No word exists. In any case,
I'm sure I already cursed too, so pretty sure I already did anyway.
then we can't label this podcast clean.
Come on, guys.
Come on.
We're reading Moonraker.
I mean, somebody just has to remember that this episode isn't clean, so that way when Mitch asks me, I can go,
No, I'll take your word out. Don't you worry. I was trying to say like what word?
There is no word. Anyway.
Don't worry. That whole part will go away. You can resume as normal.
That's good. So in any case, so there's everybody hears through the grapevine of the women's locker or the women's restroom. So Lil is the one to tell Bond that his peer is safe in Germany.
Recovering from something.
But while Bond is sitting at the desk, there are 3 phones, a white, a gray, and a red. And the red one starts ringing because, that's the way this works. That's the way it always works. And it's M on the other side. Well, it's not M. It's M's chief of staff asking Bond to come up. So Bond goes to the 9th floor.
Even less labels up there.
Even less labels up there. Well, there's only one office up there. The rest
Yeah.
a room of personnel. The part that confuses me is why he takes the lift. Like, why take an elevator when you're going exactly 1 floor?
Maybe that's the only access.
Except then it wouldn't be up to fire code.
Oh, no. There would still be access to a fire exit from that floor, but you don't need the access to be... Like, it might be the guarded access. Like, it might just be, you take the lift when you go to see M. You don't take the shady-ass fire escape.
I mean, would fire code even exist in a massive way at this point? I mean, we're barely talking about, wait. Seatbelts time, guys.
That would have been because of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Which happened in the 30s. So fire, like, having safe exits provided that weren't elevators would have been coded.
Fire codes began in the late 20s, early 30s because in the late teens, early 20s, fire insurance became a thing.
Ah, okay. No, yes, absolutely in that case.
Yep, fire insurance.
And once you have fire insurance, you have building codes for fire safety. Because
yes.
Insurance companies don't want to pay for fires and loss of life. And surprisingly, fire insurance was the first form of homeowners insurance that you could receive.
Also, around the same time, a lot of fires were happening in which employees were intentionally doing very, very bad things to their employees, naturally. And so that led to a lot of workplace codes, too, and unionization and a bunch of safety protocols.
So,
we've
got some fire codes, nowhere near what we've got now, by any means. But we would definitely have something. In any case, like, why would you take a lift? There's got to be a staircase. Anywho, he goes up to M's office, and we get the first introduction in this book to Moneypenny. And he goes in to sit with M, and M's feeling distraught, embarrassed.
I'm distraught.
Ask you for an awkward favor. Ew.
I think
and then you get this weird internal monologue with Bond about how he's going to piece it together because M doesn't like umming and hawing and anding, I'm sure.
I can imagine what he would think of my speech. I'm sorry.
In any case, M finally gets to the point that there is Hugo Drax, who's our bad guy for this book, in case anybody is wondering. This should not be...
The guy named Drax is the bad guy?
What?
What? Hugo!
The multi-millionaire who's giving out money and building a
Moonraker rocket. Like, that sounds like a good guy.
Anti-atom bomb deterrent in the 1950s with his own money, and all he gets out of it is a knighthood, is a good guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure
Just
thing.
a knighthood.
Just a knighthood. But sure thing. Sure thing, yeah, because he started out in future commodity trading, building up multi-million dollars worth of assets in 5 years, because that's not shady as all get out, while in a tax-free foreign port. But in any case, M says he cheats at cards, and he wants Bond to catch him cheating.
So this would be so bad on his character if he's caught any other way.
Yeah.
That was the interesting tiptoe about it, was like, this guy's a cheater. I don't know why, and we gotta catch him, but like at the same time, we don't want to ruin him. Like,
I understand. Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I understand the idea of not wanting to have this like philanthropist kind of figure almost be destroyed in the public eye. But at the same time, I'm also, this seems like a very paper thin setup for a thing, because he's like, this guy cheats, and in no way, shape, or form did he just open the exact same damn book that Bond did to look up how this guy could be cheating and then figure it out. I'm confused.
It seemed like such an easy thing to figure out.
Yeah.
All Bond had to do was watch him for like 30 minutes, and Bond was like, ha ha.
I guess the part that might have been hard, I guess, was the part where you work it in to punish the guy or expose him without exposing him. Yeah. But I still feel like M is supposed to be smarter than that.
I think M's problem is M doesn't want to be the one to do it because he doesn't want to. Bond is a no-name. Bond's kind of disposable. You don't want this philanthropist now after the head of your Secret Service.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
And two, it does get set up that Bond has had significant training in cheating at cards and catching cheaters at cards and learning all the tips and tricks. They spent significant money on training him to do that for a previous job. So okay. I think M's like, I could probably figure it out. It's going to take me 3 times as long, and I potentially piss him off, which potentially ends up with us in a fight with him in, the public newspapers, and we really don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
So you, who are unknown and therefore unaffiliated, can just sweep in, figure it out, sweep out. Nobody's the wiser.
Mm-hmm.
But this setup is the first 3 chapters. The next 3 chapters, the next 40 pages, is one game of Baccarat.
Yeah.
And a dinner.
What?
And a dinner.
And a dinner.
Yeah.
Carry on.
It is a single evening of Baccarat.
Ian Fleming trying to tell me that English cooking actually is good.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe that English Indian food, very good. English food?
Yeah. English food when they're doing other people's cuisines can be good.
Yeah. Like
Sorry.
no one eats a full English. I'm just saying.
The British conquered half the world in search of
spice.
In search of spice and still have flavorless food.
Honestly.
In any case, we have 3 chapters of Bond eating dinner and playing Baccarat And this
and
was
the drug too.
what?
He drugs himself too. That's what I needed to look up, was what that drug actually was. I forgot to.
But in any case, so this was the part where I was like, this feels oddly familiar. Did anybody else feel in the explanation of Baccarat like we were reading Artemis again?
It's somewhere between Artemis and The Martian for sure. Like, it's just so procedural.
Like, this is getting so... just call it Baccarat, say he won.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
And you guys said that's not the way that it goes, or that is the way you're describing right now is the way that it goes in the movie.
Yes, mostly because they don't have to explain it to you. They can kind of just show you by having them play.
Mm-hmm.
So they can kind of cut around, but they don't go over the rules. They don't, explain it in any way. You're just kind of, as the audience member, expected to know what Baccarat is and how to play, or you don't know and it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I fell into the second camp.
That's fair. I feel like most people do.
Yeah.
But in any case. And so in the end of this section, Bond beats Hugo Drax in a game of Baccarat in a very Bond manner. So I feel like every time Bond plays cards, he loses and then he wins.
I mean, that's the best way to set someone else up for the things. That's classic sharking.
All the time. Except half the time he's not sharking. Like, half the time he loses the first couple rounds because somebody's drugging him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't ever intend to lose at all. He intends to win all the way through.
So,
but like,
if I were Ian Fleming, would I say it's not that he always wins, it's that things always end up with him winning because then he has achieved his goal.
Fair.
If games went one more time, he might have lost the next one. He never settles for losing.
There we go. He never settles for losing. But
okay.
So he wins £15,000.
Oh, he's on quarantine diet too?
Yep.
Hey.
I definitely gained the COVID-19. I'm not discussing that. It's horrible. And then our bad guy says, "I should spend the money quickly, Commander Bond."
Mm-hmm.
And he turned away from the table and walked swiftly out of the room.
Bye.
Like a drama queen that he is, or correction.
Never see you again. No.
All Bond villains are. Every Bond villain is just drama queen to the nth degree.
Mm-hmm.
Like
now,
always.
in the way that they read it in the audiobook, because I pretty much exclusively do audiobooks while doing like graphic design and whatnot at the same time. The way that the character says these words for this version of it, it's like they're spat. Like, should spend the money quickly.
Should spend quickly.
Yeah. It's like they're like Mr. like they're Malfoy Senior in this one.
Maybe it's just a British thing. Maybe we're offending everybody in Britain.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so, because I know a few British people and most of them aren't. But then again, maybe
that's why they got out.
They're not sufficiently snooty upper class. I don't know. I have no idea. But in any case, yes, all Bond villains kind of sound like Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. The drug that Bond put in his, champagne? I don't even remember.
Is benzo what?
Benzedrine, which is an amphetamine. So it's basically speed. He took speed.
Okay, that's why the sweats.
Yeah, that'd be why. Which I thought it was. I was like, it has to be like speed or something. I was like, oh, there you go. Because drug names have changed, and it used to be like that. You just like a new drug came out, and you would just boom, take it, whatever, and be like, oh no, this should probably be illegal. That's about right.
Let's test it out on some of our spies, and then we'll decide if everybody else can take it.
That's fair. A captive audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with LSD in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Most drugs had to start seeing how it would work.
Yeah.
No, this is not a good idea. We probably shouldn't have put that in the Coca-Cola.
Always put it in the Coca-Cola, but I personally so Stephen, I don't think you obviously didn't get it because of the
No, I don't have this.
Yeah.
This is a diagram of the carts.
Yeah, that was the diagram of the cards. Yeah, that was in the Kindle version too, but it looked slightly
Interesting.
So it's literally, like I said, I feel like it's very much written like, okay, here's your blocking for the movie production. Here's how everything's gonna look. This is what food's gonna be served. This is how things are gonna smell. Here are the facial expressions that need to be, observed.
Or you need to put the sweat on the people.
Now, for the later Bond movies, does anyone know if Ian Fleming was kept on as like a consultant where he would be on set or anything by any chance?
Don't believe so.
Okay, because if that was the case, I feel like we would eventually start getting into the territory of like recent Adam Sandler movies where he basically like writes the plot to decide what vacation he and his friends get to go on with each production.
I mean,
yeah.
Is that
I can't knock it. I can't knock it at all.
No, I wanted to make sure I pulled up my notes. No, Ian Fleming passed in 1964.
Okay, so he could have been there for at least a couple, but not a whole lot.
A couple, but not many. Not
Mm-hmm.
many. So no, he died August 12th, 1964.
Okay.
So perhaps his family, maybe, but I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, I guess
he's just got such a style that it's relatively easy to mimic. I feel like. I mean, I like Bond movies. So far, I'm enjoying this book more than I like Dr. No. But Bond stories have very similar plots. You get some twists and turns, but they're pretty standardized plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
What makes them good action movies? Like they kind of follow the formula and move you through. And the differences is in unique characters, side characters.
I was excited when I went to look up this. I forget exactly what I was looking up at the time, but I did see that Jaws was in here.
Yes.
Sir Richard Kiel for the movie at the very least. So I was very happy, and I'm very curious to see how he's written in the book.
That's fair. So, I believe we are past our 45 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Point.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to do the footnote on Ian Fleming next time around.
That's okay. Come back next time. Find out more about Ian Fleming.
He's
And-
an interesting man.
Moonraker. Yes. So, I mean, in worst case scenario, I'll do it when we do the episode about watching the movie. It's fine.
Are we doing that?
We are watching the movie.
We're watching the movie one way or another. Particularly since I know that Stephen has not watched it.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh my god! I myself into.
Possibly watching all of the 007s.
Oh,
It'll be fine.
I'm gonna take up drinking.
I mean, you're more than welcome to. You are over the age of 21. It is well within your rights as
Absolutely.
an adult.
I'll have to finally get an over 21 ID.
Are you still using your vertical ID?
Yep, absolutely.
Stephen.
I've never had to get a different one. Look at.
I mean, I suppose, but oh my god!
I got it like what was it, like literally one day before I turned 21, and then I've never gone and done the different one.
You don't even have to go anywhere. It is $12. You literally mail them $12.
At some point I'll have to do it.
At this point, you could probably give them the $12 online.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
Like, you need it in Vegas. So
Yeah,
you're gonna have to do it when you go.
That's the only thing stopping me. When I tried to go to a barcade here, they said I couldn't go in. So I guess I need one.
Yeah, I was like, you need it. Like, you don't need it to, like, some places you need it to get in. Whether or not you choose to drink or not is up to you, but you can't be in the place. Because that's why I had to get mine, was because I was going to do a Vegas trip, and you can't go anywhere in Vegas. So I was like, okay, I'll go get mine.
But more about that next time. We'll see if I have done that a week from now.
Spoiler alert, listeners, he will not have done it a week from now.
No.
Because and I are going to have to razz him at least a dozen more times before this gets accomplished. Possibly even sit with him at the computer to get it done.
It's true.
Okay.
That or sick his beautiful and fantastic girlfriend on him.
She hasn't gotten me to do it yet. It's been a year.
Yes, except most of this year has been in quarantine, so...
Yeah.
It's true.
Don't give me that. Don't try and pull that. No. But all right. Until next time, Jessica, where can people find you at to share martini recipes?
You tell me about your favorite martini. I'm on Twitter as JM Bailey Writes.
And Stephen, where can people find you to either razz you about not having switched your ID and or attempt to convince you to watch more James Bond movies?
I am on all social media, and if you want to find out where to find me on all social media, go to my website. It's www.peppermintgentleman.com. Thank you.
It's very pretty. Check out his website.
It is very pretty. And you can find me with the rest of Geek Elite Media at Geek Elite Media on our Facebook page /Geek Elite Media. Archived episodes of this podcast and other podcasts can be found on geekelitemedia.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast on whatever podcatcher you use so that other people can find us. And if you are interested in supporting this podcast and the rest of Geek Elite Media, you can join us on our Patreon. We've got some fun things, early releases, and all sorts of cool surveys. I don't know what they're actually called.
Well, you can help shape our content if you go there.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, there's surveys, but like you actually get stuff out of them, which is not common. In any case, this is The Love of Pages, reminding you to keep turning those pages and always remember to
geek out.
out.